If you're setting sail out of San Juan, Puerto Rico for Virgin Voyages, in this video, I'm sharing with you my experience with helpful tips so you know what to expect and can go get to the port and have the best vacation possible. Coming up. There she is, resilient lady at port in San Juan. Let's go check in. I'm excited for this one. Look at that. And if you're new here, yo, I'm Christine Lozada. I missed my boarding time by 2 hours. Oops. Don't be me. This video is part of a Virgin Voyages crash course, so don't miss out on the helpful videos that you should be watching before this and the helpful videos you should be watching after this. But let's dive in with the first helpful tip because I want you to be a smart traveler, and it's this. The location of your cruise port. The app was telling me one thing. The website was telling me another thing. I just want to tell you that you should check the app, check the latest information before you head to the port. The reason why I say this is the app was saying the Pan American Pier, but the website and everything else was telling me that it's Pier 4 in Old San Juan. These two are close to each other, but they're not the same place. And so I noticed that the app switched over to Pier 4 the day of the sailing, but just make sure, my tip here is to check your address before you head to the port, just to make sure you got that latest and greatest info. This next tip is if you're flying in and you're coming to the San Juan, Puerto Rico port from San Juan Airport. The thing to know here is that it normally takes 10 to 20 minutes-ish to get to the port. And that's normally around a $20 Uber ride or a $20 taxi ride. Unfortunately, mine was way more. And the reason for that is because of surge, both the time and the price of the Uber. And that's because multiple flights all came in at the same time and there was traffic because my sailing was on a Friday afternoon. And so it was just getting really busy. So I paid more and I waited longer and it took me longer to get to the port. That doesn't mean it will happen to you, but knowing what the normal price ranges and times are is helpful. It's also helpful to know that they have a designated taxi area with designated taxi prices. You know how sometimes you go to airports and you're like, oh gosh, like what is this taxi driver going to make me pay? Your other option is to line up for a taxi, and that's an option available to you. Let's talk about what you need to know once you're dropped off in your taxi or Uber, because the port is literally right there on the main road. You're going to see the rock stars on one area and then the regular boarding on the other side. And what's helpful to know is a couple things. The first one, and I tried to fact check this for you several times with different people at the port, and I got a lot of different answers. And I was asking, you're allowed to drop off your luggage early, then go walk around, enjoy Old San Juan. You're literally walking distance to be able to go enjoy all of the things. And I asked, hey, how early can people drop off their luggage so they can go walk around? I got different answers. It's somewhere in the range of 9:30 a.m. and like noon. So just know that you are able to drop it off early and go walk around. Go fact check this, do your own homework. Maybe your sailing is different than mine, but that's what I was told. This next helpful tip is regardless of whether you're checking your bags early or as you're going on board, which is have your app ready. You can screenshot your boarding pass, or you can just have your app open. You need to know your room number. They're gonna ask you for it, and then when you actually go through to check in, they will ask you for your boarding pass. So have these items ready. It's no different than boarding on an airline, which, speaking of which, helpful tip, do not go early. Kind of in the same way, you know, it's like, oh, boarding group 3, but oh wait, I'm boarding group 6, or they're calling boarding group 1 and you're boarding group 5 on your airline. You can't just go roll in group 1. Virgin Voyages operates the same way. You don't board earlier than your boarding time. So my boarding time said 1:45. They were not going to allow me to pass through until 1:45, or the very late time that I arrived after that. Oops. But have your boarding pass ready, have your room number ready. The port people will ask for this number so they can tag your bag. Look at their handwriting make sure that tag is legible. I've heard a lot of times about people having their bag sent to the wrong room. I've had someone else's bag sent to my room, and I called every combination of room numbers to find the right owner. I found them. All right, so once you've checked your bag with the port, if that's something you're doing, again, you can bring all of your luggage on with you. That's up to you. And now you have passed through the boarding area. Now you're gonna head inside to go through the check-in process. This is your time to have 2 items available. 1, your boarding pass, which you already have up, and 2, your passport. Yes, you can cruise without a passport, but the world is waiting for you. Get a passport. So now you'll check in with one of the attendants, and one of the questions I always love to ask is how many people are on board the sailing. They will be able to tell you as you're checking in. It's just helpful to know. 2670 is the maximum amount of people they'll put on board. They'll always do 100 less than the maximum amount of people that can be put on the ship. But it's always helpful to know so you have a gist of how to plan accordingly, because I gotta go stand in line early, 30 minutes early for a show that I want to see tonight, because this is a relatively full sailing. And then after you have finished the check-in process, people always ask like, oh, do I have to go through security? And I'm always like, oh, what are you trying to hide? But just like going through the airport, just like going through TSA, you're gonna be walking through, putting your stuff onto a belt, going through a metal detector, the normal process of checking into just about anything these days, I guess.
Let's talk about disembarking, because something happened that I didn't expect. I expected to come back where we started, but we ended up coming back here, which is at the Pan America Pier. That's totally fine, but this is a different experience coming back. Again, it's very close to the other location. Google Maps link is in the description, but it's helpful to know, 1, you need to show your passport to get out. I don't know why there were so many people who were confused by this. And the second thing is that the Uber pickup, there's lots of taxis out front, but the Uber pickup is around the corner, a short walk away, but know that it's about a 1-minute walk from where you exit.
There are 2 bonus things I want to add, because people ask me these questions a lot about duty-free and flying in same day. So we're gonna talk about that. But now that you're on board, now it's time to go enjoy the things. Don't forget, this is part of a crash course. The next video you're supposed to watch is the first things you need to do as soon as you board Virgin Voyages, and then top tips for the sail away. And then after that, you got homework to do, the PJ parties after that. I'm here for you every step of the way. All right, let's talk about more tips. Let's talk about flying same day as your embarkation, that's risky. And I asked in the Facebook group, come join us, by the way, if people would do it, and everybody said no. And I also know that a lot of people, like my sister and my friends that I sailed with earlier this year, not everyone flies on a private jet. So here are some helpful tips. 1, book the first flight out. Why? Now you have options. If something's wrong with that flight, you have other flights thereafter. And the other thing, the first flights out can't be delayed by the flights before that, because it's the first flight out. Second, I'm also checking the weather. What's the weather like in the airport that I am going out of? And what's the weather like in the airport I'm coming into? If I see some crazy weather coming in, I might decide to change my flight to come in earlier, i.e. the day before. And there are lots of statistics available online. Go check your specific flights. Go see how frequently, how often is it on time. That data is out there and available on Google, available to you. So go see what the on-time record is for that flight that you're on. Then be the adult that you are and make the best decision for you. Alcohol. Let's talk about alcohol, because I was curious. Duty-free. Don't forget, on Virgin Voyages, you are allowed to bring 2 bottles of wine. People get really confused about this. It's 750 milliliters, i.e. a normal bottle of wine. So if you want to bring like the big boy or like a big box of wine, like, oh wow, my shoes are dirty. It's a normal bottle of wine, 2 of them. It's not per person, it's per cabin or per stateroom. And it's at the port that you are first embarking from, not every port that you're at. And yes, champagne is a wine. Duty-free. There are duty-free shops available both at the airport upon your arrival at San Juan. There was also one in the actual cruise terminal as you're going up the escalator. I was surprised when I saw it. But you have the option to go grab 2 bottles of wine and bring it on board with you if that's something you would like to do. The duty-free shops at San Juan Airport, they're all over, but they're varying sizes with varying inventory. I'm Christine Lozada. If you found some value in this video, cheers that like button. And you got work to do. This is part of a crash course. I'm here for you every step of the way, and I want you to book with us. Be a smart traveler. It only takes a minute, even if you've already booked your voyage. Price compare it. Come join me in the next video, and I'll see you over there. Ciao. See Millie over here. There she is.
So nice.
You look so pretty. How are you?
Good, baby. How are you?
I didn't realize you were hostess here. I'm so happy you're here.
When you messaged me, I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I saw you just with Ben all the time. I literally...
That entrance was different than what I'm used to, so I'm just, for old time's sake, I'm gonna come in through 7 just like normal, because this is how I'm used to boarding Virgin Voyages. I'm so discombobulated by we came on downstairs. I had never seen that before. Wow, that's new for me. What else do people ask me? No, you cannot bring alcohol. You can't bring vodka or Grey Goose or something like that. It's wine, 2 bottles of regular ass wine. People get so specific about it. There's a full blog post about it. Speaking of wine, I need more wine.